Crew. Thank you. They will help us lead a discussion of the movie and Black culture in Canada. If you have any questions for them, there's a table at the back of the room with paper for you to write your questions down for the Q&A. Wow. Yeah, goosebumps.
Thank you.
Man, so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So we have, some questions, director, and for you as well. For the director, what do you look for when you are looking for a project?
Hi, thanks for having us. Can you guys hear me okay? I apologize for my background. I have a small baby, so I had to go hide in a small room. To answer the question, I mean, I kind of always just work on stuff that I'm interested in, and as I think the movie, I hope shows pretty well, the kind of extended Nautic crew has been friends and kind of an extended family that me and Kirk, the other director, and Ryan, the producer, have all kind of grown up around each other. So this project was something we were trying to do for probably like 20 years.
Amazing. So the follow-up question to that is, what brought you to this particular documentary?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like again, I hope that the movie speaks for itself, but the kind of extended Nautic crew are just the most interesting people, and they were kind of the most exciting kids to be around when we were all kids. And now I feel like they've become just like amazing men. And so it's just a story that naturally I think we wanted to tell. It was kind of a big part of my youth and coming of age. And I just feel like, Joey's gone from, he's still crossing people over, but to working with kids and running camps. And John, who I think is here somewhere in this Zoom call, is working with at-risk kids at school. And Andrew has what's the Six Fingers, maybe the top kind of finishing company in Vancouver, and Goosebumps. He's kind of rewriting his whole story with music now. And like maybe this is really obvious, but the song that ends the film, that's him. And he makes all of that instrumentation with his own voice. He's producing, writing, and rapping on it. So it's just like a bunch of people you want to be around and a story you want to tell.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. So what do you think was the hardest part about getting this project done?
I mean, wrangling like 12 adults to all be at one place at the same time is always pretty hard. But again, that wasn't the hardest part. It was the funnest part. I feel like the timeline was really tight. And we felt like the stakes were pretty high. And we wanted to kind of do this story as much justice as we could. And just getting it into shape in time was a little bit dicey, but I feel like it turned out.
Wow, well done. Well done. That was
thank you.
Something else that you guys were able to put together there. Last question for you, or rather, second to the last question. What did you learn from creating the mixtapes and the Nautic movie?
I mean, that was my first experience really with filmmaking. So I learned something that's been, it's been really helpful, I think, in my career and in my life, of just that if you kind of stick with your friends and everybody kind of puts their heart and soul into something, that it's probably going to turn out, and people are going to respond to that. They're going to respond to the heart and soul you put out on tape. Like Kirk and I didn't know anything about how to put out a street ball mixtape. And then back then and then today, like we'd never made a documentary feature before, but I feel like, you know, like I said, this is kind of like an extended family. Even Hunter, who's the cinematographer, is like one of my very closest friends, and Ryan, the producer, is like a really good new friend. And I just feel like when you work with your friends and everybody does their best and kind of supports each other, things really turn out well. And that's something that's been helpful to learn.
Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thank you for those. Mo, back to you now.
Yes.
What were your main inspirations to be part of the crew, and what were your long-term goals at that time?
Long term was, I'll be honest, was NBA or professional at that time and place. You know, we practiced almost like 6 hours a day some days, so we would want to make it somewhere, right? So, but eventually being part of the crew was just, we're just a bunch of friends, brothers really, and we play together. We had the same style. So once we created just an aura of like creativity and fun, and we just wanted to be around each other. Then when our friend Jer, you know, came around and Kirk and started to create these tapes, then we were ready. It was partly like we just became a nucleus of creativity and basketball spirit that we couldn't be broken, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the person on the screen 20 years ago?
Well, he was young, wild, and you know, out for a good time, and naive in a good way. Just wanting to experience, you know, life and going after your goals, and that's what I was definitely motivated me, was to just build on my aspirations day in, day out, and that's one of the good things that being in sports in general, you get to see your growth. And that's one thing I really fell in love with, is just seeing my growth. So yeah, that's one thing I see when I look at him.
And more, I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I know that the audience here tonight will appreciate you sharing some thoughts on how has that person 20 years ago evolved or changed to who he is today?
Well, I would say that evolved is a good word, because the good things, I'd say that the good thing that that sticks with me is that the growth, the wanting to see your evolution, putting hard work in, becoming somebody that you thought you were. So whether I'm doing writing or music or trying to do directing or any type of thing behind the camera, I put that same amount of passion, and realizing that truly hard work pays off. And we've had a great experience with this, so it only continues to inspire us in our later stages in our life, right? So we're able to build something that just keeps on rolling, and whoever we show it to, like there's 2 other mixtapes that we're focused on. People that see that are always inspired when we show it to kids or family members. They're always like, this is, you know, something that is great. So it's just seeing that and people's reaction to it allows me to say that, you know, you put the hard work in and you get it back in some way, shape, or form.
Thank you, Mo. Thank you, Mo. I truly appreciate that. I understand we also have some of the other players present tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one in the middle is Johnny Blaze, John Mubanda.
Johnny Blaze.
Yeah. And the other one on the right is Six Fingers, Andrew Liu. What's up, boys?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate that. Question for JB. I'm sure the audience would like to know, who was the best player amongst you guys?
Oh man, that's a tough question. Honestly, everybody had such different game, such different styles. All of us played uniquely different. Six could shoot from anywhere. Mo had such creativity. David was just out of this world. You know, Disaster was incredible. Everybody was just incredible. King Handles could just kill it with the handles. Jay Fresh was killing it too. Everybody had such a unique style, so I couldn't say one was better than the other. But the one that I looked up to the most was Mo, right? So Goosebumps was my favorite player at the time. He was the one that I really formed my game around. I really liked the way he played, and I looked up to him as growing up, and then my brother as well. But everybody had such a unique style of play that I couldn't really tell you who was the best.
Yeah, I slipped him $20 for that one. But appreciate it.
No, I think we all appreciate that response here. JB, thank you so much. And I'm not sure who's going to take this question, but feel free, JB or Mo or Jeremy. What advice would you give to young people today who have a passion and wish to make an impact in their community?
That feels like a John question.
Yeah, John.
So I would say don't quit, don't give up. Me and Mo weren't born here. As a matter of fact, me and Mo was a crazy story. Me and Mo were born in the same hospital in Kampala City, and we met in Canada. It's incredibly crazy. It's just a blessing that I was able to meet him in Canada. But not giving up and continuing to pursue your dreams. And I always say, without Jeremy and Kirk, our stories wouldn't have been told. Without Ryan Sadu, our stories wouldn't have been told. But creating that family and creating that unity as a group just gave us the ability not to give up. And we always encouraged each other. We always motivated each other. And to this day, we're always still here for each other. As a matter of fact, Six just helped me build my mom's house and fix it all up. We're all family. So it's such a unique thing. It's bigger than basketball for us. It's our family. We're all a unit, right? So I'll just encourage people not to give up and find that family in whoever they really appreciate and whoever they love. It's just finding that family and sticking with them.
Yeah, I would say that to carry on what you just said is finding people that see something in you, like you see something in them, and you can just create a good environment. Like I said, a nucleus of positivity, and never a bond that if you see somebody slipping, they correct you and I'll correct them, or vice versa. That's what really helped out in anything, right? So whether it's making a change in the community or playing basketball, right?
No, JB and Mo, I think that is so true. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to show this film, because that speaks to a lot of us, so many of us from the immigrant community, or from the Black community, or even from the indigenous community, folks that are faced with enormous obstacles. My own mantra in life is that for those who are very close to me, and they will tell you this, that I have never allowed the difficulties of today to define my tomorrow.
Very true.
And I think that is so true. And we could see lessons from several segments of this movie speaks to themes like that. So thank you so much. I think this particular question should go to Jeremy. How hard was it to capture the action which took place on the court as a new filmmaker?
I mean, it was pretty hard. We were just absolute amateurs, kind of running around with cameras. Sometimes Kirk and I would hand the camera off to each other and then go play. There's like some clips that aren't in the mixtapes. There's a clip where Mo does a really amazing shot fake and the camera follows the fake instead of the. Anyways, this is getting into street ball minutia, but we just followed those guys around with a camera all the time. It was fun. I mean, we were all kids.
Now, thank you so much, Jeremy, for that. I think that's so true. I understand you say Fingers is here.
Mm-hmm. Andrew.
Now, if Fingers may help us with this particular question, what advice would you give to youth of today who want to pursue street basketball?
I think you can pursue anything in life, if you have passion for it. Like we weren't how do I say, we weren't really pursuing street ball when we were young. We were just doing something that we enjoyed. you know. I think if you enjoy anything, you can do it for fun. You can do it, you know, you can make money from it, and you can do whatever. And then I think that translated to my career also, you know.
No, I completely agree. Passion. If you are passionate about something, you can do whatever you want to do. I totally appreciate that, Fingers, and so good to see you tonight. Now, I'm not sure who's going to take this particular question, but the question I have here is, what did you learn from this time period in your life?
Who wants to go?
You
You can go, John.
honestly, I think friendship, man, friendship is, the brotherhood is unreal, right? We grew up in such an era and such a time where there was really not too much internet. We really had to bond on a different level. We talked to each other. We've been through a lot together. You know, I had my daughter at a young age, and you know, Mo 6, everybody, Jared Kirk, everybody just checks on how you're doing. It's just those friendships that are everlasting. It's such a blessing. God's blessed me with all my brothers. You know, these are all my brothers, and today I'm just so blessed for these friendships, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things.
No, I completely agree. Thank you so much for that. Mo, last question to you. What will be your final thought to the immigrant of today, contrasting their experiences and what they're dealing with today with what someone like yourself, faced 20 years ago?
Immigrants, obviously here in like
Correct.
Canada. Okay. Well, one of the greatest things that allowed the Nordic actually to be very authentic was we were all pretty much immigrants, right? So we found a group of people that understood our struggle, understood what we're going through when we're in school. It wasn't just always on the basketball court. A lot of it wasn't on the basketball court. Why we bonded, whether it was Six, whether it was John or his brother, Joey, we all bonded off of, because we're new. We felt always kind of new to this land, right? The language wasn't ours. The food wasn't, you know, it was foreign, right? We're used to very hands-on food coming from Africa, right? So,
I think we can all relate with that.
Exactly. So we kind of challenged and attacked that all together, and that kind of created such a great bond. And whether you're immigrant growing up now, it's good to have people that can understand what you're going through. And coming from Uganda and Kenya and these things, we might not even spoke the same language because there's so many different languages in each different country, but we understood each, we spoke a certain language of like reality, of understanding, right? We didn't necessarily have to speak our native tongue to each other just to understand what each other's going through, whether it's, like I said, school, whether it was outside life, whether it was, you know, whether you're dating somebody or it doesn't, we all kind of like gave advice to each other, and that kind of builds confidence, and trying to build confidence in a place like Canada is key, because it helps you become more comfortable here and enjoy it here and understand, oh, I'm not the only one who goes through something like this, whether it's a slight bit of discrimination or you feel like an outcast. So if somebody understands what you're going through, then you build confidence, then you feel, okay, well, it's not just me. I'm not just the one man out or one person out. Then you can kind of grow and become somebody who feels comfortable and feels proud to be here.
No, completely agree. Thank you for those remarks. Last question for the night. Maybe, John, you can take dates. What have you learned as an immigrant that you can share with the younger generation?
Well, I work with a lot of youth in high schools now, and a lot of them come from the same struggles as I do. So I just teach them to honestly, for me, it's God and my friendships and the brotherhood that I've gained through being in Canada. You know what I mean? But I always kind of give it to God and be like, yo, I'm blessed. I thank God for my family. I thank God for Mo, for Jared Kirk, you know, Six, Disaster, all my boys, man. I feel as though it's just a blessing that I've been provided with, and I teach these kids to just take advantage of the people around them, their teachers, whether it be their teachers or their principals, whoever's on their side, to just, you know, really build those relationships so they can see change in their own lives, you know, and they can proceed onto the right path. And because being immigrants in Canada, we were so blessed to have each other to grow in this new land, right? If we didn't have each other, I don't know how we would have turned out, but I'm so blessed to have had each and every one of these people, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Me too.
More,
I
you
agree.
wanna
No,
add
no, like I agree 100%. It's just a blessing from God to have some of the friends that I've had, from Jared, Kirk, John, like all these guys, my brothers, Andrew. Just it's just an amazing group of people that I've been blessed to be around.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for giving us the gift of this movie. This was a great conversation.
Well, thanks for having us and for showing the film. And I think this is the first time Goosebumps got to see it in a theater, so that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Thanks for having us, man. Goose, it's good to see you on stage,
It's an
man.
honor.
It was late too.
So this was a great conversation. I've learned a lot from all of you tonight, and I'm sure that the audience have done the same. And I hope everyone in the audience has as well. But before we end tonight, I think we would like to grab a photograph with our guests tonight. We will have a photograph right here. Your Honor, please, over here with our guests tonight, please.
Thanks for hosting. That was great.
Yeah,
Just
thank you.
tricky
That was
with
great.
Zoom heads and on stage.
Just the way you are, please. Okay.
I don't want to take up any more of your time, but I'd like to say to Mo and John, I was also born in Kampala.
Yeah.
And I'd like to know which hospital you guys were born in to see if it's the same hospital that I was born in. You're obviously a lot younger than I am, so it might be a different hospital.
But she can't play this kind of street ball.
Nimesema Swahili lakini kidogo.
So I would like to thank the panelists for taking the time to join us in this engaging and powerful discussion. These are, in my view, important conversations to start in Black History Month. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
But not just in the month of February, but all year round, in our everyday lives, in our everyday conversation, and to continue throughout the rest of the year. By learning from our past, we can work together to build a better future for all Albertans. And that's really what your government is here to do. That's really what we are striving to accomplish, to build a province in which all of this raw talent, that we can create an environment in which they can achieve their dreams, knock down barriers and obstacles, so that we can all live a fulfilled and rewarding life. Thank you. You know, I know that we still have a long way to go. You know, how I wish I could stand here right now and tell you that those obstacles are done tonight or tomorrow or even in the next decade. No, that wouldn't be true. It is a work in progress. But I can tell you, you know, as a member of your executive council, as a member of your government, that we have made tremendous progress, and it's something that we have our eyes focused on. I can tell you that in my own small way, when I was the Justice Minister, we made deep reforms to policing and the justice system. And I am looking forward, you know, to making sure that we continue that progress so that at the end of the day, young people, young teenagers, young Albertans, regardless of their cultural, economic, social background, can have hope, you know, to achieve their full potential. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here tonight. That brings us to the end of the official part of our ceremony tonight. Thank you and have a good night.